all means necessary and to the fullest.
To the fullest.
Yes, giving thanks for the day and giving thanks for life, but especially giving thanks for the mothers for going through the pain and the agony, bearing us and giving birth to us. And I would like to shout out to one of the youngest soldiers, Soligan soldier, which is my son. He's in the house with us.
Definitely.
But I hope the public enjoy this session again.
For sure, definitely. Well, they will enjoy because we got a powerful soldier in the house here also.
For me, it's an honor to be sitting down next to a man like this, hearing his voice every Wednesday.
Yeah.
I know him from back in the days. I think he know me too as a young boy.
Okay.
But respect.
Yes,
I love what you're doing.
Without any further ado, Mr. Victor Pence.
Yes, good evening to you, X. Good evening to you, Kevin. And good evening to the listeners, the St. Martin people, and general.
Yeah. We had to put it back in this afternoon because on Wednesday morning we couldn't get enough. Couldn't get enough knowledge. And this platform, the 5 o'clock talk, is the knowledge of people. You know, we do a lot of teaching. So the more you learn, is the better for the people.
Of course, and I don't want to be chest clapping on this. I'm not the only one. We are a good few here in St. Martin who love. I think all of us in St. Martin love our country.
Yes.
But a lot of us, a good few of us want to do something about it, and those are the people that you must give the opportunity. And so I'm glad that I was re-invited, maybe to continue what started Wednesday morning, and to your opinion didn't reach to sufficient conclusion.
Yeah, and especially on that subject before we run out of time again, because when you're learning, when you're getting edification, it will run so fast.
Yes.
You know,
knowledge is empowerment.
Yes, knowledge is empowerment.
Of course, and Barack Obama is the proof of that.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's not for his color that he was elected president of the United States.
Because he had to work twice as hard.
I do think so, huh? And even today he's not doing so bad, and it's again because of the knowledge of the issues that he gained, and he sacrificed. I mean, it's a sacrifice he went through. He did the schooling necessary, and then he did what the people expected him to do before he was in office. Okay, he went through the community and he did a lot of works. He did a lot of works, and today he's president of the United States of America, the biggest power on earth, they would say.
Which is a good thing for all black people.
Which should be a good example. I was just listening to the news where Jamaica is going back to try to use Marcus Garvey. So as to, put back some more, how would I say? Values, yes, because in this commercialized, get it all one-time world that we're living in today, money is the root of all the evils that we have today. I think the people of African descent should say cool out there a bit, yes. So I believe the Jamaican authorities are right with the issue. Marcus is another fellow, guy that did a lot of good things. He raised up, he opened up a lot of consciousness, and today we start sorely losing that drive to go forward. I heard somebody that was on this station that was invited, a guest, on Billy D. He said that we are, and in general, we black people are, well, not in general, but when we are caterpillars, okay? But a caterpillar looks like a worm, and the system is telling you that you are a worm, and that you must do like a worm. And some of us need to convince ourselves we really are worms. But a worm never become a butterfly to bloom and go. So when you remain a worm, you never do the things that a caterpillar would do to go and become a butterfly. So you're back to the conclusion of what Bob Marley said. He wasn't the honest one said, but he had I would say the bright idea or the inspiration, and to put it into philosophical terms and in rhythm, emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that up here?
It starts up here. I mean, we got, what if chain is on your hands and on your foot? They're on your hand and they could be invisible. It's because they're in your head.
Yeah.
Today we're not seeing them. But when you take them off your head, then you could probably get them off your hands and your foot.
Yeah.
So emancipate yourself from the mental slavery that you're in. And if you're a caterpillar, don't expect to be a worm.
Yeah.
Do what caterpillar should do, become butterflies.
Become butterflies.
Definitely.
Yes. And that's what we're here for, to teach people to become a butterfly.
This is why I enjoy now and again others be able to listen to the program.
The 5 o'clock talk?
The 5 o'clock talk at 6.
6.
And I'm convinced, Kevin and Xrey, that we are in a process of nation building.
Okay.
You imagine how it was back in 1776 for the United States, for instance? That's more than 200 years ago. Those guys were a colony of England, and they had to get a whole big territory together. It took them some years. They didn't have cell phone, they didn't have internet and all sorts of these things. But they arrived to overcome all these obstacles, and today they got one of the greatest nations in the world. Of course, the story is not all bright. They got a lot of dark spots in it that we would have loved if it went a different way. A lot of dark spots. But the truth of the matter is, they build their nation. And today, a lot of American people are proud to say they are Americans.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, the hymn for the American flag, for the American anthem, is about the American flag.
Yes.
Well, not the American flag, but a flag representing
talking about raising the flag.
The patriots, representing the patriots in America.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And America becomes home of the land.
Of the home of the brave.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay?
Home of the brave, yes.
The free and the brave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
St. Martin should also be the land of the
free and the brave.
Free and the brave.
Yes. Which is going to bring me to this question.
Yes. Maybe we should change it around. Brave and then free. Because we need to get brave to stand up.
Of course. They go together. Together. You gotta be brave first. If you're not brave, you might never get free. Get free.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to bring this question to you. You heard about the Sunday gathering jollification that was
7th.
On the 7th.
Yes.
What do you think about the idea?
That's a very good idea. The word that I think, if I'm not making mistakes, you use, you say it's for us to mingle with each other.
Yeah, plus the network with each other.
Mingle and network.
Yeah.
Basically, the theme of the is jollification.
Yes, and that's a word that you don't hear anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a St. Martin word.
I don't know, but we used to live it.
We used to live it. Okay, well, at least we had a way in expressing that word.
Yes.
That word for us meant something else. Meant something.
Exactly. I know my brother Billy house like that.
With jollification.
But that was part of our daily living.
And if we're building now again, we're building a nation now.
Of course.
Let's jollificate.
Of course. So maybe on Sunday will be some jollification
of building
the nation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if we pick that back up, it would establish a great sense of hope. Why? Because it takes us, some partners, Soligans, to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then our children will follow.
Exactly.
Then they would see exactly how we used to go about things, how we used to be united with one another, the love that used to flow amongst each other.
Yes.
So
they can carry on.
Yeah, man, this is a perfect example.
Yes. Beautiful.
So I will be there.
You will be there.
Yes, I will be. I said I didn't forget the date.
I noticed.
Right on the point.
Yeah. Right I will be. I said, no, I can't miss this one. I missed a few good things already that went on.
Yeah.
I'm not indispensable, but I said, no, I will not miss this one.
I'm going to ask you another question, and that out there floating that a lot of people don't understand. You heard of because when I first heard, I didn't understand it either. leader of the ID card from the grassroots.
The grassroots foundation.
Yeah, you heard of the?
I heard of it, and maybe I shouldn't announce it because that's sort of like self-praising, but I didn't get one yet.
Okay.
But it's in my firm intention to get one, to make sure I get one.
Okay.
And
have you seen it before?
I think I was able to see a piece of one. I think I can remember the process is there. You go to the grassroots foundation, then inscribe you, and then you have to go by a photographer. He would do the necessary, and then you will receive your card pretty shortly after. So yeah,
I'm gonna show off and show you, know?
Well, you could.
I'm sure I'll make you get jealous.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to ask you a question. The 10% margin waiver on
okay, yeah, go ahead. It's on the 7th of next month. It's right in front of God Bar. The God Bar, Isha Brooks here, I think.
Yeah, we can't miss it. It's
on the opposite side.
Right by the God.
Yeah, it's on. It's from 2 to 5. Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, we were just talking about that.
You see how interesting this event is?
Yeah.
And pulling people to come at the radio station to get more information, get more details.
Exactly. Because people are feeling it. People are understanding where we're going.
I am proud.
Yeah.
I feel proud.
Yeah, so for the folks also, like the lady that just come in here for the information, the jollifications, jollification.
Martin
Jollification Day will be in Friars Bay, right in front of Richard for the God Bar. The God Bar, that's the name of the restaurant, the God Bar. On the opposite side, which is one of James' family place. And we just want you to know that that location there is our location for now. And if anyone else over there know, like in French Quarter or in Grand Cars or in Cold Bay or in St. Peter or Savannah, we can move it around once the place is a convenient place that we can have our jollification.
Convenient to the setting that we would love to create, that when the people arrive, they get that warm feeling, that welcome.
Exactly. And don't have to pay for the location and those kind of things. Because it's not about making money.
The jollification, like remember you say this one bring a little something and the other one bring something, and we taste of one hand and taste of the other hand, and that's basically how the event would be enriching.
Yeah, definitely. So actually we came in this afternoon to get a little more knowledge also of how the collectivity is functioning, so that people can understand where we are as knowing, especially with that the 74 law there, that
Article 74
and the benefits that we could benefit as a people. And these are the kind of things that we're going to be also knowledging the people about, and in our jollification, the things that we could benefit in the law, because we're not independent.
No.
So until then, we have to know how to get around a lot of those things.
Well, let's say maybe tell you maybe this is I didn't express this that a lot before, right? But I'm not against independence of a man. You'll probably find some people who, if you say independence, and they would look to hold you and strap you up with white thick clothes and put you in a crazy house.
Try to compromise you.
No, they're definitely probably crazy to be talking about independence of a man. But so I'm not against independence. Independence means that you're running your own business.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
You're using Martin, no. You look over.
But independence does not mean that you wouldn't have to depend, because this whole world is an interdependency of each other. Yes. I would imagine America would like to go and attack, for instance, Iran today. But I firmly believe America is not the capacity of doing that.
They don't need Iran, as a matter of fact.
Iran Iran is violating a treaty that she signed a few years ago. This is just a parenthesis to illustrate the idea of independence, and I'll come back on the 74. Yeah. Iran signed the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Okay? But today Iran is developing nuclear technology and capacity, so as most experts believe that they will be eventually.
You want to use them?
No. You're going to be able to capable of making nuclear weapons. Okay? Nuclear warheads, they would call them. They would put it up on a what I call a missile, and then it could hit 3,000-4,000 kilometers away and even more. But Iran is saying, no, I'm developing my technology for my own domestic purpose, which is to build nuclear energy and stuff like that. But the two technologies are so similar that you need now to go and check. Yeah. So far, what the Iranians are permitting the International Atomic Commission to check is not enough. They know and they see with the different satellites and think that there's other things going on. So they're considering that Iran is violating the treaty that she signed, and the honest way to get her to stop that is probably to bomb those facilities and to help the process. Iran on her side now used to be in the past a very strong regional power there in the Middle East, and with the development of the armies and things like that, so you got Israel that a very powerful army, okay? So, and Israel has the atomic bomb. So Iran wants to balance all this business, okay, and say, well, all right, I cannot affect the regional policies if I stay in my backyard and just have some little matches to scrape against those fellows that were coming with big ammunition and nuclear weapons. But America today and Israel don't want to attack a battle like that because they need help, they need cooperation. So that's to illustrate the difficulty of the situation. Come back now to the 74. And I'm glad you asked the question, because in my mind, those who are in the political power don't stress on it enough, or the common man don't stress on it enough. Article 74 is an article of the French Constitution. The French Constitution is a book with maybe about 150 articles or somewhere around that. And Article 74 is an article of the French Constitution. That Article 74 says that overseas territories have the capacity to demand a certain amount of autonomy. Okay? And Article 74 starts to describe that process. It was not like that before. It was the Article 74 wasn't the way how it is today. It was recently revised in 2003 that permitted us in Martin to make the demand to be managed under the auspices of Article 74. And with the principles of Article 74, derived our organic law that creates and organizes this thing that we call collectivity of St. Martin, in which I've always said that I don't like the name.
You don't like collectivity?
No, because the St. Martin Medical Center is a collectivity.
Oh, yeah?
It's a medical collectivity. Okay, so the department is a collectivity, the region is a collectivity, the nation, the state is a collectivity. The state name is referred to as a national collectivity. That's its generic name. Okay? And we needed a name to it's like as if when your father gives you a name, right? He named you son. So whenever everybody see you, say you're a son. Understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly, is your son.
You done with son already?
You done with son already.
Yeah.
You need a name. So your name, that's why they give you Xrey. Alright?
Yeah.
And the other names that you know that you have, right?
Yeah.
You understand?
I understand, yeah.
So I don't like the word collectivity.
Yeah.
I prefer the word what it's really referring to, which is country. On the south side, automatically, it's the same, as a matter of fact, Article 74. It's the same article we got on this.
On the south side?
Phillipsburg, yes.
Yeah.
To make a comparison.
So you could say Country St. Martin.
Country St. Martin South and Country St. Martin North, they have their own. They are in Article 74 also too.
Yeah, but they don't have the parliament over here. We don't sit down and legislate over here.
Yes, we sit down and legislate. Yes, we sit down and legislate.
Okay. To a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Not the freedom that the South have.
In quantity, I would say no, but in principle it's the same. Let me tell you the reason why. Remember the other day we were talking about this issue, and I said I enumerate a certain amount of areas where we have sovereign competence, which means we have state-like competence. We don't depend on no other political entity to make the decision in that field that we're talking about, and namely fiscality, for instance, to name one. We do what we want in fiscal laws. The only thing that we surrounded by is other ethical laws that would govern the way how you run in your fiscal laws, which means you cannot discriminate where your fiscality is concerned. You can't say Kevin will pay and Xrey wouldn't pay. Two, radio personality, but no, Kevin, I like Kevin, he ain't gonna pay, and then Xrey gotta pay. So that's unconstitutional discrimination.
Yeah.
So that's what it's surrounded by. But if me being the Country St. Martin North, I can say you have to pay both 100. Whatever the currency is.
Equal amount.
Equal. It could be unequal, but it cannot be to the point where one not paying and the other one not paying. Equal and equal, because you're not in an equal situation.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I see. I understand where you're going down. Understand where you're coming? Yeah. Hello, good evening, Carl.
Big up that song for me, please. Good night for Alien.
Okay, then.
And the crew.
Okay, then.
Okay, bye.
Listen to a different radio station, man.
you want the song for Alien?
Yes.
Okay, so, if you're going to make a decision that is a law, then in principle, you are a parliament, because parliament make laws.
Yeah.
If you take us and compare us with Guadeloupe got two assemblies that will sit down. Each one of them got a certain amount of things, areas where they have competence, but they never make the law in none of those competences they have. They don't make law. Yes,
okay.
They, as a matter of fact, they considered to be executive councils.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Whereas we have, in St. Martin South, it is more distinguished. It's clearly separated. We have the members of parliament, that I think they call them senators, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have the Council of Ministers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the Council of Ministers is the executing body, and the members of Parliament, the Senate, is the legislating body, they make the law, and these fellows over there execute it.
Yeah.
They can't do nothing as long as it's not passed through Parliament. They can't work on the budget as long as it's not approved by Parliament. Their role is to elaborate the budget fine, but the parliamentarians are there to make sure that it is voted accordingly. On St. Martin North, we have the same thing. Okay? We have our budget to be voted, and it cannot be executed as long as the council, which I wouldn't call them senators because that would be complicating the issue.
Yeah.
But for me, at times they are parliamentarian because they make the law in the field. They got about 7 or 8 different fields that we announced Wednesday.
Yeah.
Namely tourism.
Yeah.
Our tourism laws, the French government, the central government doesn't have nothing to do with our tourism laws. The National Assembly in Paris, which is the Parliament, which is the National Assembly and the Senate. I think in the Netherlands, for the kingdom, there's 2 chambers also too. There's they call one the first, and then one is the second chamber. In France, it's the same principle, okay? And those 2 chambers make the law. They go together and they make the law. In Guadeloupe, there's 2 chambers also too. But they just put whatever is decided in Paris in execution in Guadeloupe. I'll give you an example. There's a thing called octroi de mer tax, an import duty.
Yeah.
In Guadeloupe, called octroi de mer. Okay. The Guadeloupean didn't vote to create an octroi de mer.
Right.
It's a National Assembly that voted to create the octroi de mer. You understand? And what they have to do, and that's one of the competence that the law gives them, they can set the level of the octroi de mer. You understand?
What percentage they want to use?
What percentage they want to use.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a shared competence, but it doesn't have the competence to create the law.
Yeah.
Then they can execute it.
Right.
Whereas we here in St. Martin, we instituted what we call the TGCR, which is the turnover tax, actually. Same like St. Martin South. So we say that we put it in existence, and we also vote the rate also too. So you see the difference?
Yeah.
So when you create a law, you're a parliamentarian. Yes. And I was pleased a few years ago where the actual president of the St. Martin North was in the council back in those days, and he expressed.
That was Mr. Gomes?
No. The actual president, okay. Mr. Anna Richardson.
A few months ago?
Well, a good few years ago. He became president a few months ago. He was in opposition then, and he said that we need to have the attitude of a parliament when we pass in laws. We need to have a possession of, like our interior functioning, and rather function as a parliament when we voting on laws, so which means you bring amendments and you function like a parliament. And when we're not in parliament, then you act as the executive, executing laws that are outside of your competence, but you're just there to execute them.
Let me ask you this there, though, before we run out again. Our situation right now, since they have so much of possibilities, our situation is immigration. How can our parliamentarian push for more control on immigration here?
First of all, I will make you laugh, but for me it is very, very necessary. I'll make an image of it. What St. Martin North and South first got to do is get married.
Yes. Yeah.
It's up to you know, same sex and things like that, so, right? Man, I go and get married.
Go and get married.
If these you are the people that the population said are legitimate to make decisions in their place, we got an island to run.
Yes.
We got people to put into happiness.
Yes.
All right.
Suffering people.
Well, we got to. We actually are suffering.
Suffering people.
But any person in a political position, job is to make the thing run.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
The responsibility.
that's their responsibility. That's their, okay. Make it work. So, when I say get married, for me there's nothing much can go on any much more than what we're seeing here right now. So, if a real marriage contract isn't signed between St. Martin North and St. Martin South,
and then they can sit down and solve that.
But when you got a marriage contract signed, you got articles in this contract saying we're going to do this like this. When we reach here in 10 years from now, we're going to build this together. You understand what I mean to say?
Yeah.
We will probably recognize each other's diplomas and work so that each other's diplomas be recognized. We probably put a system in place where somebody coming from St. Martin in South can easily find himself in the economy in St. Martin North, probably become a civil servant and stuff like that. But all those things are possible.
I find it's a must.
But it is a must that we go there. Yes, every day I advance on this thing. Like, I try to look at the reality of the situation. Or I look at the reality of the situation. I fall back on. We need to be much more embracing each other's in trying to settle problems commonly instead of each of us going our little small way and looking to do it.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
That systematically unification need to be injected.
You guys probably have the job to make it come about in the society, bring it back in the people's mind, much more presently. You know, one thing that is not for in our favor, and you said what the immigration, but I wouldn't say immigration, I'm saying the consequences of a high immigration. We have a lot of people here in St. Martin that don't really need to care about this issue that we're talking about here, because they come here, and the reason why they come here and stay here is because what they get in here is much better than what they used to get when they was in their country. So you wouldn't ask there to think on that issue. But there's a good saying that say, who feels it knows it. All right. And another one say, who know better do better. All right. So we got the job cut out for us.
What and what about the social issue? What can our leaders do about that since
it might be even studying them, but they have to follow us. That's why I think by the first Sunday of the month, we will be that force to be reckoned with that would have that impact in our society.
But then you see, if we know that the lobbyers can sit down and lobby against this, then we know we can stand up on the step the next day and say, listen,
we lobby.
Fix it.
Also, you want to leave they can possibly lobby against it?
Yes.
You want me to take out the organic law again? Yes, already. Listen, a few interviews ago I said, and a lot of us are saying it, the present organic law that we have is not the best thing. But if we even go as to use it about 50% of its capacity, we'll be a lot better off than what we are in now.
Even 50%?
Yes. Listen, I had as the advisory counselor, we had a session yesterday, and we happened to be we received an expert in fiscality, and happened to be that person is a person from St. Martin, but worked most of his years in Guadeloupe, and raised to the highest of what they had in Guadeloupe, and when finished with that job was employed by the region in Guadeloupe under the former administration, which is Xrey, and was re-employed by this last one, Victorien Luel, who's today's Minister of Overseas Territories.
Yes, sir.
And this guy got like more than 40 years of experience behind of him.
Wow.
Okay?
And he's from St. Martin?
He's from St. Martin, yes. And a thing that he said, because in the process of we going into Article 74, when we put our fiscality in place, I remember I used the word copy-paste. We started by copy-pasting the system that was there for the French Republic, for the entire French nation, except those who have Article 74, who have the possibility to do it differently. And there's a tax that we had in place here called house tax that disappeared in 2010 simply because the how to use the word, the computer programmings, okay, that used to was used to create a database and all those things, was changed nationally. You understand?
Yes. Yeah.
We now having fiscal capacity here. Did what we needed to do on a local basis. Couldn't use the same programming.
Okay.
The revenue collected from those taxes was eliminated. About 4 million euros. We lost 4 million euros approximately in our budget on that basis. Okay? But
when you say we, you mean St. Martin?
St. Martin, country St. Martin North. We lost around 4 million euros on house tax.
Okay.
There's no more house tax. You don't receive you only receive land tax and property tax.
Okay.
But there's a house tax that used to use for garbage collection and other things like that. So it's lost. Okay. And on the entire ordinance is around 4 million. And 4 million could do a lot for education that we duly need to send our children in for sport, our football selection, getting the wash out by countries that we used to wash out. Okay?
Yeah.
You imagine that?
Man, terrible, man.
Okay, so
backwards.
So because the national government changed their computer programming and stuff like that, so because as a matter of fact, it's a national administration that is responsible. We signed a convention with the state. The state collects our taxes. We issue them, but the state does the research and the collection. So they lose the tool, the spanner what used to turn the number 19 not hip. They don't have number 19, so we can't collect our tax because they don't have it.
And they can't find something to put in the place of it.
Well, the problem is this. Of course, one of the answer given is that, but we know down the line it's because it's gonna whatever is done, if the state is responsible for collecting, then the state got to put people to work on the collection, and the state just don't want to do that right now. Because it's going to cost some money, it's not going to bring any more.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
But, come back to the principle, you're never better served than when you serve yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't see how on 37 square mile, and half of it, we got country St. Martin South that has the same type of taxation in place, and they collect it themselves.
Yeah.
And over here, we can't get enough same people, maybe the cousin of that person who's in the collection on St. Martin South is enough is here to do the collection, and when some way you're telling me in between, a cousin can do it, but another cousin doesn't have the capacity to do it.
That don't add up.
That doesn't add up. Okay, same cousin, never. You understand? Or sister, even maybe sister or brother, doesn't have the capacity to do it. Yeah. But I'm going to come back to what the gentleman was saying. That law, that tax, the 4 million, that 4 million isn't a big deal.
For this, not a big deal.
No, it isn't a big deal in this principle.
Okay.
The 4 million would have permitted you to clean up your tax base. It's just to know who is really living there where, okay, and who's paying what.
Okay, yeah.
And if you're not living where you're supposed to be living, then we scratch you off the list. You know, we had a calypso with scratch them off?
Yes, scratch them off.
Scratch them off the list.
Yeah.
Until you could put yourself in order. And when you scratch off the list, then you scratch off the list also too for social benefit if you're not really living there because you're not supposed to be collecting social benefit that we are paying for.
Yeah. So because of that, now nobody can locate you.
Of course, but so in one way, right? You lose 4 million, maybe between 2 and 4. I'm not gonna pinpoint the amount. Yeah. I don't have the budget in my hand. Yeah. But let's imagine between 2 and 4 million euros, you lost that. But on the other hand, you don't have a piece of tool that was permitting you to save another 6.
Yeah.
So in reality, you lost 8 in that process. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I need some clarification. I'm sure some other people out there need some clarification also on where our new president here, President Allen.
Yeah, Mr. Allen Richardson.
And the new president in France. Now they're telling them that we in St. Martin got to take care of some of the social payout that we never had to take care of before.
When St. Martin was a commune, it wasn't the responsibility of the commune. But St. Martin took up the responsibilities, the country St. Martin took up the responsibilities of the former commune of St. Martin, municipality of St. Martin, the department of Guadeloupe on the territory of St. Martin, and the region of Guadeloupe on the territory of St. Martin, and added to that also to some competencies that the state used to exercise on the territory of St. Martin. This new country St. Martin North is doing all that.
Okay.
So in the process, things that we didn't used to do before, now today we have them as responsibility.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And here's where you need it knowing what you got as responsibility, because the law was issued before we went to election.
Which is in
our organic law became a law before we went to an election.
Election
in 2007.
2007.
Yes. So those who were there know in 2007 cannot say we didn't know we had this to do.
Yeah.
Okay? No, they should have done a lot better.
Okay.
On that principle, they didn't do it.
Yes.
Okay? And they probably should have listened a little more to each and everybody. We as advisory council give a lot of advice on the issues, and unfortunately they didn't take much of them into consideration. As a consequence, we can say today, you didn't follow us on late. Well, it's too late for this, but we know because they didn't follow our advices on some of the issues that we are in the situation that we are in today. All right? And then there was some other organization going out there. For instance, the MOXAM, that was a citizens committee that expressed a certain amount of reserves concerning the car tax, or the vehicle tax. And today, who's talking about car tax?
Nobody. So that erased.
They abandoned it. Hopefully, maybe this federal government will pick it up. But Xrey, you cannot build road on 6 cents on a liter gas. You cannot build and maintain road on 6 cents on a liter gas. That's the only tax that the country St. Martin North is collecting on gasoline.
Okay.
And country St. Martin South, I got a feel it's around, do you, no, but it's around 25 to 30 US cents, maybe a little more today, I don't know, but the last figure I had was around that.
I think 32 cents.
32 US cents?
Yeah, it was in yesterday paper and this morning paper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because gas keep going up.
Yeah.
So imagine, you know what will be the consequence in 10 years from now. Well, 10 years from now, if you want to roll on a good road, you'll have to go on from time you reach the frontier, you'll see, hey, Bob, in a different country because
the road better here.
The road better maybe. Okay? Yeah. No, but if you want to take a comparison in Guadeloupe, right? That same tax is around 55 cents. Around 55 cents, and we here in St. Martin is 6. And we used to complain that Guadeloupe wasn't doing nothing for us where roads is concerned.
Yeah. One more thing about the tax, because time runs so fast.
Yeah.
As we pass on the street, you see we got a lot of marketers on the street right now that selling and not paying tax. When you have people in the market now paying for spot, for tax. How can a government get a hold on something like that? Get an order? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. The market died before those people were so much on the roads and on the street. The market died before.
Okay.
All right. When the market was blooming, there were very few other little markets like this around in the country.
You mean just pop up anyway?
No. When the market in Marigot on the waterfront was blooming, there were very few.
You wouldn't find that.
You wouldn't find that. And they came in with a certain amount of pressure on the vendors before organizing them and committing them to guarantee an income, to have an income guarantee. The commune did that. Some responsible people thought they were doing good, but they did a lot of damage, and they killed the Margaret market.
Okay.
The foreigner straw was for its foreigner design, which it's unattractive. It's not a landmark statement, or nothing like that. You understand what I'm saying?
But if you want intentionally done.
Excuse me?
How I'm observing this was like it was intentionally done.
I wouldn't.
Basically, the strength.
No, two things had to be done. In 1965, the marketplace was handled by St. Martin.
Correct.
Okay? Up to probably 1980.
Right.
Okay? And those who doing the market job were very important to the economy in St. Martin. They didn't have a big chunk of the economy. Of course, it was just some of the little small crumbs, right?
Yeah.
But the image that it was given of St. Martin was unbelievable. The touristic image and stuff and things like that.
I can remember those days.
Okay, so what should have been done is everything to preserve and to make sure that when Xrey father get too old and he can't sell in the market anymore, that somebody from Xrey family can pick up the job because the thing is good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We think.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Because he also making some money.
Yeah.
Because I can't ask you to look pretty and you're not.
Make the money.
Don't make not no good. You can't make a living out of being pretty alone.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that wasn't done. As a consequence, now some other people came in from other countries and they started doing what they're doing. Okay, and today we got a marketplace where 99.99% is people from on the outside. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you still can't put some rules and regulation where each and everyone can make a benefit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So for me today to come back and answer now on these little small market business, the economic situation is so drastic. If the people that are legal in the country might as well leave them request a permit and give them a permit and organize a space where they can sell on the public property and make a little small payment out of it. Okay? At least there you're not losing, again you're making something extra come in. You have already destroyed what you had down here. Okay? Leave these people who, some of them, maybe not all of them, because if you probably some are situated in areas where it is dangerous for circulation and things like that. And then you cannot give the impression too that anybody could get up in the morning and start selling.
And it's not a good look either.
But I wouldn't say that. This is where if you organize it, it should look good.
I mean the way it is.
Yes,
right now.
Listen, what used to happen is that in French Quarter, for instance, if somebody live in French Quarter want to go to a marketplace, it was a task to get them out. When the economy was blooming and every day of the week had a lot of traffic, you don't have to spend 3 hours to reach Margaret buy a kilo of fish. So economy is like that. Where there's where there's a need, the need is filled automatically. So the people in French Quarter had a need to receive, to have some. I mean, it's an absence of projection too of government that not securing a space somewhere in French Quarter, in the French Quarter area, for that mass of people that live up there to have some sort of form of a market place. Right now, so you got a Kennedy tree where you got fish, you can get fish there. Sometimes you get better fish than in Malwa, cheaper, and you got some vegetables and fruits and things like that so that you can get your too. But the land is apparently well, for sure it's private land. How long can that continue? Okay, and then they went and they decided haphazardly and decided to put an area close to the football field where supposedly just like that out of the blue people would come off the main street and go into a marketplace.
Okay, why we run out of time?
But I just wanted to inject this. I find, my opinion, why we don't bring back what we had. Like, revive that image by teaching our children the way about going about it and recreating that image that we used to have. That is Samaritan. And
I totally agree.
Demand in places concerning the traffic, and they cannot reach to the area where it is maybe highly concentrated, that constructively we can provide the area in the area that the demand is great, where the population is growing, and then creates an identical system. And I mean, we can move on, but this is basically selling St. Martin and sharing St. Martin to the world and to our visitors. And the respect to those visitors who are coming here to look for labor opportunities.
Every big country that I visited so far and that I know about, in their cities, some cities are so big they got 4 or 5 big market spaces, open markets. And those are the areas where people go to mingle, to meet, to smell, to feel. You understand what I'm saying? And for most of them, the marketplaces are a landmark.
Definitely.
You understand what I'm saying? And we had our marketplace as a landmark because it was along 2 big silk cotton trees. Not silk cotton, sorry. Sandbox trees. One, unfortunately, got to old age and died. And the other one there needs some more life water. Now it's probably dying.
So that's the one there with the restaurant, right?
Yes. And we put a restaurant around it. Okay?
And for me,
and I know when I was a teenager, I saw several visitors came there and put on the canvas and thing, and I was surprised to see there was a tourist lady, if I can recall. She was drawing leaf by leaf.
Oh, she was okay.
She was drawing leaf by leaf, and listen, excuse me, maybe that was her line of, maybe that was a hobby.
Yeah.
But imagine if it was a line of work for that person. Imagine what a great image that is if that person did sign market Sandbox Street and sell it for how much in St. Martin and sell it for how much, whatever the price is. You understand? So we lost it, but you know, we still here and we got the faith and we got the will, and we can probably emancipate ourselves from the mental slavery that we're in. Okay, and do as Marcus Garvey say, let's go back towards Africa, but not by taking boat and going back, because I don't think the African fellows, they would accept us so willingly. Some would be glad that we leave, but
find our spiritual strength.
Find our spiritual strength, because most of what we live in here today is we brought it over from Africa with us
and adopted,
and of course, and listen, don't even go too far about it. A lot of what the world is using today came from Africa. Scientists claim to say that the humanity started in Africa, and I don't think the mistaken way a lot of that is concerned.
Start right there.
Okay, so
Mr. Payne,
yes,
thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure